Hi everyone, it's Ayse Hogan again from the Chakra House of Healing, and today I want to talk to you about our personal triggers. Our personal triggers and how they affect our relationships with other people. So most of the time we look to other people to make us happy or to make us, to love us, to deal with, to support us, to understand us, to be compassionate for us, and all of that sort of thing. But what we don't understand is sometimes we start getting some friction in our relationships, and it's because a lot of times it's about our personal triggers. It really has nothing to do with the relationship itself. So what does that mean? I have, for instance, issues with, I don't know, let me see, somebody talking to me nicely, or this tone of someone's voice, or when someone raises their voice to me, or how they use their words, or whatever, because someone else in the past did something to me, because someone else in the past treated me badly. Maybe it came from your childhood, maybe it came from past relationships. So you have these triggers. And then for some reason, we expect the person that we're with, whether it's our friend, whether it's our romantic relationship, whether it's just somebody in our workplace, to be able to tippy-toe around our triggers. To decide, we ask them, listen, that makes me feel sad, so don't do that. Or that makes me angry, so don't do that. Or that hurts my feelings, so don't do that. What we really need to understand is what's happening in the relationship. Does it really have to do with the relationship, or is it your personal trigger? And what right do we have to ask someone else to deal with our trigger? We came to this relationship with these triggers, just like the person who's also in the relationship has their triggers as well. But when we get angry with someone or we get hurt, we have to really sit back for a second and say, okay, is the reason that I'm angry with them, does that really have anything to do with them? Or is this because of something that I brought to the table? If it's something that you brought to the table, then you need to keep it off the table. You need to deal with the relationship without your triggers. It's not someone else's responsibility to deal with your triggers. If you know that you have personal issues or triggers or sensitivities, then what you need to do is deal with them. You need to go see someone, or you need to do some self-healing, or you need to find a way that resonates with you to deal with your triggers so they're no longer on the table. And so does the person that you're dealing with. You shouldn't have to tippy-toe around their triggers either. You shouldn't have to sit there and go, oh, well, that makes them sensitive and I can't say that and I need to talk in this way. It's like we're trying to change someone else, or they're trying to change us, and no one actually has the right to do that. You need to find your happiness within yourself. And that means putting yourself into a very happy and healthy place. And what happens when you put yourself first and you put yourself into that happy, healthy place where you can feel this happiness and love coming out of you? That means that you become a better friend, a better partner, a better daughter, a better son, a better everything, when you can actually deal with your stuff, put it behind you, and not bring it to the table and expect everybody in your life to tippy-toe around it. The other thing is, sometimes some of the things that we're guilty of, some of the things that we're accusing someone else of doing is actually something that we're also doing. So we might say to someone, you're very controlling. But if we were to take a good, hard look at ourselves, maybe so are we. Right? Maybe the things that we're seeing in someone else is actually a reflection of what we're doing as well. So before we blame someone else for something, or before we ask this unaskable, I think it's an unaskable request to ask someone to deal with your triggers. We need to decide what's ours and what's theirs, and what belongs to us as a partnership, whether it's a friendship, mother-daughter, father-son, romantic relationship, like what is ours and what's mine and what's theirs. Just because someone's in a relationship with you doesn't mean that they need to deal with your shit. I'm sorry. So expecting someone to do that is actually, it's disrespectful, and I don't know how else to say it. It's very selfish. You need to deal with your own stuff. You need to deal with your own triggers. And sometimes if we don't actually know that we have them, because we react too fast, because we're impulsive, somebody says something, we say something back, we haven't actually taken a step back and said, all right, before I react, let me think about this for a second. Let me take a day to think about this. If it's important to me, I can talk about it tomorrow. I don't need to really talk about it right now. And is this mine? Is this a sensitivity that I've always had with everyone? With most of the people who get emotionally attached to me or that I feel that can hurt me? Am I like that with those people? And if I am, then really is it fair for me to ask them to deal with it? And the one really cool thing about pointing our finger at someone and saying, you did this, there's always 3 fingers pointing right back at you. So understand what you're bringing to the table, understand what they're bringing to the table, and understand what you've both put on the table. So for a perfect example, if as a woman, I'm going to use a man as an example. So let's say you're in a relationship and your husband or boyfriend constantly throw their underwear and stuff all over the floor. They never pick up after themselves. Everything's on the floor and they expect you to pick up after them. That is your relationship issue. That's something that you need to deal with within the relationship. If, however, he is trying to tell you about how he feels about something, how he's upset about something, how he didn't like the way that you spoke to him about something, and perhaps you snap back, we'll deal with it. Or, that's not me, that's on you. Or you did that, you caused that. And instead of blaming someone else, stop for a second and just think, did you actually do that thing? It's hard to take a brutal, hard look at yourself and say, did I do that? Maybe it did. And maybe it's just as simple as, I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention to hurt you in that way. It wasn't my intention to do that. Instead of attacking back. That's how a lot of these disagreements get blown out of proportion, because really no one is listening to the other person. They're too busy listening to their own triggers, their own expectations. And really in a relationship, there should be no expectations, no obligations. Loving somebody, whether it's your friend or any other kind of relationship in your life, loving somebody comes with no obligations, no expectations. Loving them just because you're loving them. No ifs, no whys, no anything. You just simply love them for exactly who they are, and you accept them for who they are. You don't try to change them. They don't try to change you. You're responsible for your part of the relationship. You're not responsible for their part of the relationship. Meaning, what does that mean? That means you don't get to tell them how to act. You don't try to fix them all the time. You don't try and adjust people all the time and say, you should do it like this, and why don't you do it like that? Who the hell wants to listen to that? Nobody. Nobody wants to be told what to do. Nobody wants to be told how to act. They just want to be loved. But in all fairness, we come with our own crap. So back to our triggers. Need to deal with our triggers. Not fair to ask someone else to do it. Not fair to have somebody walking on eggshells. Not fair for someone to have to think 42 times about how they're going to tell you something so that you can get it straight in your head and not get upset about it. We actually break down our communication when we're constantly bringing our triggers to the table. So once again, all I'm saying to you is just the next time you get angry with someone, the next time someone says something that hurts your feelings, think about it for a second. Try not to take it personal and just be like, okay, is this mine? Am I actually doing this? It's like looking at your reflection in the mirror and being brutally honest with yourself. Also noting how you say things. So we always have, especially when we're angry, we'll say things like, you make me feel, and you did this to me, and you, when let's just say it's true. You leave your clothes all over the floor and you don't even think about me. This could be true. Okay? This could be an absolutely 100% accurate statement. However, the minute you say you and point your finger at someone, they get their back up. They're not listening to you anymore. They're defending themselves, right? There's ways of saying things. How about I feel? I feel like, you're not really thinking about me. Or I feel like I'm not really being thought of when who's cleaning this up? I feel like I'm being taken for granted. If someone loves you, they're going to say like, no, I don't want you to feel that way. Because you're not accusing them. You're just telling someone how you feel. Now, let's say they don't give a crap about how you feel. Well, that's a whole different kind of issue. But generally speaking, if someone cares about you, they will care how you feel about something. As long as you're not accusing someone, pointing your finger at them, getting their back up, you've already lost them at that point. You've already lost the fight at that point, right? So, once again, dealing with your own triggers, being careful how we speak to someone, taking a moment to think. Remember, when someone has come to you and want us to talk to you about something, they've had a chance to think about it. Most times, it's not like at the second. If they've come to talk to you, they have thought about it. If they're asking you a question, hey, listen, I need to ask you a question, they have thought about it. There is nothing in this world that says you have to give an impulsive answer back. You can too think about it. Thanks for asking me about that. I've heard you. Let me just think about it. I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you this afternoon, or just give me a few minutes to think about that, mull that over in my head, and I'll get back to you. But instead, a lot of times we just answer impulsively. That may come from triggers. We might get upset that they asked us that or get hurt right away. Think about it. Stop and think. I know that our world is very fast track. We're doing everything quick. And we're just losing the messages in the process. So it's just a matter of, like I said, thinking about your triggers. What are you bringing to the table? Is it your triggers? If it's your triggers, then do yourself a huge favor and start dealing with it. Whether you come to someone like me, I'm a behavioral modification coach, a spiritual coach. If you come to someone like me, or you want to go to a psychiatrist or a psychotherapist or a counselor, that's your right to choose who resonates with you, whether it's clinical, whether it's spiritual work, whether it's holistic or alternative. That is totally up to you. However, what you need to do is actually do it and not expect everyone else, because they're not qualified, number one. And they have their own triggers that they're bringing to the table. So all your triggers are getting all mushed up together and nothing's being talked about. Nothing's being dealt with. And you live years and years without start building resentments, and they start saying something and you're already on edge. And it's no way to be when you can just live happy, which is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be learning from our mistakes, not making the same mistakes over and over and over again. So that's just a quick little tip this morning. I'm going to try and share some tips with you more consistently. I've been sort of off the rails lately, just working on the clinic. I am here in Southampton. It's snowing. It's cold. So what better way to spend my mornings than to be talking to you all? That's what I'd rather be doing. If you have any comments or questions, if you have something that you'd like to talk about, if you would like to have a consultation with me, I do free consultations both online and in person. Cost you nothing. There's 60 minutes. Maybe I can help you out. Maybe I can't. We'll see. Okay, so, or find someone that you know, or ask your friends for referrals. Okay, so find someone to help you with your triggers so that you can live a more peaceful life and stop carrying around the baggage. Here's another little tip. I think about challenges in our lives and adventures that we've gone through and different things that have happened, is each little thing is a walnut. And you know how we talk about people carry around their baggage, right? So imagine that you're carrying around this big bag of walnuts everywhere you go. And some people have small bags and some people need bulldozers to bring their bags in. But, we have these bags of walnuts. What if you put down the bag, cracked open the walnuts, ate the lesson that's inside, and threw away the shells? All of the emotion and the crap that goes with it that keeps you from learning the lesson. Eat the walnut. Throw away the shells. All of a sudden, you don't have a bag to carry around anymore. It's just a thought. Going back and looking at all the different things that you've gone through, what did you learn? Instead of allowing them to become triggers, understanding, what did I learn from that? You know, what was the positive things I've learned and what was the negative things I've learned? What did I learn? Walk away with that. Eat that. And throw away all the hurt feelings and the emotions and the stuff that really is not serving you at all. And it's creating these triggers and issues in you that everybody seems to have to tippy-toe around. Okay? So again, comments, questions, share, comment, wow, whatever. I'd like to hear from you. Have a great day. Stay warm, drive safe, and talk to you again later. Bye-bye.